Alright, so a video on the new to me Jeep Grand Cherokee Diesel. So this is a 2014 and it has your typical Jeep features, which would be rattles. So take a listen to this. So this driver door gets used quite a lot, but this thing only has about 50,000 miles on it, so it's not bad. However, with nothing in the door panel at all, it's still pretty noisy. So now let's take a look at the passenger side. Obviously this one gets used a lot less, so let's take a listen. So obviously, a lot less rattly, but still pretty rattly. So driving down the highway, road noise is actually pretty good. It's just that driver's door panel, on some roads, I just hear it just going and rattling the entire time. So we're going to take apart these door panels, sound deaden them a little bit, and then we'll see if that makes a difference. Alright, I'm not going to make you guys watch me take off the door panels. There are plenty of DIYs showing you how to do it, and it's pretty simple, so I'm not going to cover it at all. I'm going to give you guys a look at the stock sound deadening that's in this vehicle already. So this is a Summit, and you can see right there behind this access panel, there is a fairly large piece of sound deadening. Now that piece travels all the way over to behind this speaker. As you can see, that's the piece with this little sliver of silver. So obviously there is a good amount of sound deadening right in this middle part of the door. Now the remaining part of the speaker, like right here, has no sound deadening. So I'm going to throw in a piece there, and I'm going to throw in a piece down here to quiet this bottom part of the panel. And then that is all I'm really going to do on this door, the outer skin at least. Again, I think there's like an 80-20 rule where if you cover like 20% of the area, it does about 80% of the work to deaden the panel. So I'm not going crazy on this one. I am not an audiophile. I think the Harman Kardon sound system sounds great already. So I'm just trying to make it a little bit better and really just get rid of rattles, which are coming from this panel instead. There's also the knock test on this guy. So it's also kind of resonating a little bit, and there are some flat spots, but you can also see that there are a lot of little, I don't know, reinforcement points. So this panel should be pretty quiet too. This is also part of the window regulator, I believe, so I can't really take this guy off completely. So once again, I will throw some scrap pieces that I have, like right here. I will throw like a 4x6 piece. Probably further down here, I'll throw in like a 4x4 piece and just deaden this guy. And then I also have some closed cell foaming decoupling mats, which I will put so these wires don't do things like that. And that's going to quiet that down. However, the main part is going to be this door panel, which we'll see in the next clip. Alright, here we go with the door panels. Both front door panels are next to each other, so I can mirror the install to make it as even as possible. What I did here was take a bunch of scrap pieces of paper, and I just started layering them on places of the door panel I felt needed sound deadening. Basically, all the flat spots got a piece of sound deadening just so it can quiet itself down a little bit. Then I went to my Noico mats, and I cut it out and placed them on the passenger door panel. So this one is fully installed. There's really nothing much to it. Noico says that you can see these, once these bubbles are rolled out flat, the install is complete and good to go. And I used one whole sheet of these guys for this door panel. Next up, I'm going to just throw on this decoupler wherever it needs it. So I'm probably going to layer the whole thing in because you saw on the door frame itself there were a lot of wires that could possibly hit against this stuff. So we're going to lay as much of decoupling mat as possible, and the goal of that is to not leave any big gaps like the sound deadener has, because for this to be more effective it's not supposed to see any plastic. And then once that's done, this thing is ready for reinstall. Alright, so we are 90% of the way there. This passenger door panel is completely done. So you can see all the decoupling material is laid onto this panel as best as I could. It's got about 90% coverage, and I think that's all I'm going to need. A good tip that I found online is you take some clear plastic sheeting or a clear plastic garbage bag and you lay it on top of the panel, and then you trace out the pattern you want to do. And then once you get that traced out, you can cut your decoupling and lay it in one big piece. Obviously, my first time doing this, it didn't turn out super great. So like you can see on this one, there's some gaps where I probably should have been closer, but I just didn't trace it out properly. And then when I redid it again, it was a little bit better. But you get the point of it. So that decoupling portion is good. The whole thing with this is basically to make sure that all these wires won't hit the door panel and make any type of resonance, and then all the wiring on the door frame itself, which you'll see on that plastic little panel covering the window regulator, those wires won't hit this and also create some type of resonance. So we're good on that. The last thing I did was actually put Tesa tape under all these panel clips. So you'll see right here, I don't have any Tesa tape on it, and I only have 2 clips. But you can definitely hear a lot of vibration. So over time, when the panel retaining clips on the vehicle start to wear down and all, I don't want to happen. Now we have the Tesa tape ones. Dead silent, and every single clip is on this one. So I think that is going to be a big improvement also. So I'm going to be pretty happy about the results of what this is going to be. The last thing I did was kind of take these wire ends that weren't fully Tesa taped, and I just kind of finished up the Tesa taping. That's just something the factory left out. I don't think it's going to make a huge difference, but I guess every little bit counts. And when you buy a bunch of these rolls from Amazon, I think I bought 5 for like $10. You're going to use all the Tesa tape you want. It doesn't really add any weight. And lastly, a quick shot of the outer door panel, or the door frame, before everything goes back in. As you can see, just some Tesa tape, some decoupling material where it was needed. I didn't put any sound deadening here, just basically ran out. But you could see that, well, if I didn't tape this, there's a piece behind here. There's 2 pieces behind the speaker. Obviously, it's just place where you can place it. And yeah, decouple where you can decouple. So there's even some Tesa tape behind this where this plastic piece touches there, but no decoupling material. And with everything buttoned back together, let's give it a little bit of a sound test. So if I hit it here, I still hear something sharper. But it does shut pretty well. Okay, I hear the same thing on this side, so that's good. So there you go. One thing I did notice is that Down here, it was definitely a lot tougher to get these clips to clip on, just because of the 5mm CCF closed cell foam that I added. It was definitely butted up right against the inner door panel. So that is something to keep in mind. I also do have one piece right around here and then one piece right around here of 80mm sound deadening, so that also adds a little bit of thickness. Luckily, the closed cell foam is definitely a compressible material, so it shouldn't be an issue long term, but I guess I will report back if these panels start popping off because the clips can't hold the extra 5mm worth of material. I'm guessing what's going to happen is, like, this area, if I have anything in it, it's going to be a lot quieter. So fingers crossed that we do get a good result. I will say at least that door does sound more solid and sounds closer to this door, and that is what I'm happy about. I did find some like a nut and bolt that was probably rattling around with the plastic up in here because when the studs had come off and stuff like that. So yes, overall, I deem this project a success, so thank you guys for watching.